Does it often feel as if other people, especially your partner, let you down? When your partner says, I love you, do you believe it? Do you feel secure? Are you able to take in the expression of love and say it freely in return? Or is there a part of you that holds you back? Is there a little voice in your head that says anything along the lines of, if he or she truly loved me, they they'd want to sleep with me more often, or they'd want to cook with me the way they used to, or maybe they're not into me anymore, or if he truly loved me, he would just be excited about spending time with me, instead of fixing up that old car of his, blah, 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 blah. If you have these doubts in your head, how do you know if there's any truth to them? How do we really know if someone truly loves us? If there's even a small part of you that feels like it could never be completely happy, uh, keep listening to this class. You may not like what you're about to hear, but keep in mind knowledge is power. And for those that are new to my class, I always say I apologize for the impersonal reading of my class, but I have ADHD, and if I don't read my classes, I will go on a 45-minute tangent about something, and you won't ever get any content. So I'm reading so you can get the richest amount of content in the least amount of time. I don't want to waste your time. Your ongoing disappointment isn't necessarily a sign that you're in the wrong relationship, and it's not an indication that there's something wrong with you. We expect from others what we are not giving ourselves. When we're not providing something for ourselves, you will search for it in those closest to you, and you will get especially triggered when you won't get it from them. If you don't talk to yourself kindly, you'll tend to be upset at the smallest lack of courtesy from others. If you tend to be your own worst critic, you'll likely feel like you can't do anything right with those around you. When was the last time you took a self-love inventory? And if you want to know what that is, feel free to ask me or I'll give it another class. Most of all, when you don't love yourself, you'll always be looking for signs that your partner doesn't love you. After all, we do create what we fear the most. With the exception of a selfish or, of course, narcissistic and completely disinterested partner, almost any relationship problem you may be having is actually a learning to love yourself problem. Having self-love is non-negotiable. It's as important as the air that we breathe. And when you don't have self-love, you'll always be looking for that in someone else. And boy, does that often bring us problems. The problem, of course, is that nobody can give you self-love. It has to come from you. Sure, other people can give us their love or their expression of love or their interpretation of love or the best go at giving us their love, but nobody could ever give us self-love. Most of us don't know that we're suffering from a lack of love, self-love, until we enter a relationship. Intimate relationships are like temperature gauges of self-love. When you're all by yourself, you don't encounter the typical triggers that would indicate a lack of self-love. But a relationship will most certainly stir up the deepest needs and fears. Add any type of betrayal to those needs and fears, and the lack of self-love triggers can really be paralyzing. Suddenly, you have built-in self-love meter. That's your partner. When you possess a full reservoir of self-love, you do not rely on your partner to fill you up. If your partner is having a bad day or you have a disagreement, you're able to give yourself the love your partner is unwilling or unable to share at that time. But when you experience a self-love deficit, you will be highly sensitive to any potential signs of a love lack. When your partner is not 100% loving 100% of the time, which who is, that's almost impossible, you will fear abandonment and as if your supply of love is cut off. This will then escalate into snapping at your partner, nitpicking, and complaining, thereby actually pushing away the love that you so very much desperately need and want. Lack of self-love often stems from childhood. Some people had overly critical parents or had siblings that they had to compete against. If this was your experience, then you probably grew up thinking that you didn't really deserve love and that you had to measure against certain standards in order to be loved. As children, we don't realize that we can generate our own feelings of lovability and worthiness. And when we get older, we carry this limiting belief into our adult relationships. As I always say, you spend the first 18 years of your life learning things, and then the rest of your life unlearning a lot of what you spent 18 years learning, the first 18 years. Learning to love yourself is the most critical aspect of a relationship happiness. When you don't fully love yourself, you'll always be searching for this love, and you'll try to get it from your partner. And since self love can only come from you, you are guaranteed to be disappointed in relationships. Unfortunately, nothing your partner can say or do will prove to you that he or she truly loves you, because obviously this has to come from internal. If you have an internal blockage, let's say from what, if you don't have a lot of self love or you don't receive love well, it doesn't matter what somebody tells you, there's a blockage there. You have to work on that blockage internally, and then you can receive whatever people are telling you. Um, a million I love yous a day may not be enough if you don't work on that blockage. So, I love yous, that big diamond ring, your partner could want to rip your clothes off when they walk in from work, passionately every day, and that still won't prove it to you. He or she can plan an elaborate surprise birthday party and a getaway, and that still wouldn't do it. You could even, if quality time is your love language, spend every minute of your day together, and that really wouldn't be evidence either. If you don't truly love yourself, you'll never believe that someone else truly can. If they vow to stay with you forever, you'll secretly wonder whether they're just saying that because they believe in commitment no matter what, or that they're only staying for the kids, or that they don't have the guts to get back out there and start over. So they're quote stuck with you. You won't believe that they want to be with you just simply for you. Let's look at a few ways not loving yourself does show up. Number one, you're always looking for signs of confirmation, whether it's needing assurance from your partner that they think you're attractive or bending over backwards to please someone to the point of neglecting yourself. You're always working hard to make sure that the person that you're with will never have a reason to leave you. You feel a surge of security when you and your partner buy a house together, but looking for confirmation works both ways. As soon as you move in, you'll find other reasons to doubt their love. Two, you can't seem to find the right partner. You join various online dating services, you go on countless dates, you even start a few relationships, but something always feels off to you about the other person. You have lofty ideals about romance and the way a relationship should be, and you think that you'll only be happy when you find it. Yet, once the initial glow of new love wears off, you become dissatisfied. Three, you keep very busy. You may be a workaholic, maybe you have a million different hobbies, or maybe you tried a bunch of different sports. If you're not on vacation, you're planning one. While we're all for living life to the fullest and enjoying what life has to offer, keeping yourself busy can be a sign that you're trying to avoid the feelings that result from a lack of self love. Four, you spend a lot of time, money, and energy on being happy. Everyone has heard stories of celebrities and wealthy people who struggle with personal demons and can't seem to find happiness. If you're often chasing the next quote thing in life, whether it's a new car, a new home, another therapist, etc., a fad diet to feel better about yourself, chances are you're ignoring the one thing that can give you true happiness. And again, that's learning to love yourself or self love. Underneath these four signs is one common denominator: an uneasy sense of emptiness or loneliness. People may tell you how lucky you are, how good you have it, but deep down inside, you feel as if something is just not right. Something is off. And that something could very well be a lack of self love. What you're searching for can't be fixed by your partner, can't be filled with your career, your lifestyle, or anything material. And as long as you continue to look at these things to fill you up, you will forever remain unhappy. Now, sure, you might get jolts of happiness, but that true internal happiness, you'll always be on an endless quest to find. It might not even be easy identifying with one or more of the four signs that I just mentioned. It might make you feel a sense of sadness, but here's the bright, shining spot in all of this. You can simply learn how to love yourself. And once you do, it will have a domino effect on every single area of your life for the rest of your life. Because I always say the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone and standard for all relationships around you. I don't care if it's your spouse, your child, your parent, your neighbor, your boss. That's the kind of security that no amount of money can buy. Now, this class was about self-love. So it wasn't about ways to improve self-love at all. I just wanted to get you to think about, could this be an area in your life that is lacking? Could this be a challenging or difficult space you're in? And if yes, to address it, because um, acknowledging something is the first step towards fixing it. So even though this class wasn't about ways to improve your self-love, I did want to give you a few tips just to jumpstart it. And so here's just a few ways, a few tips and techniques to jumpstart that self-love process. Number one, know yourself. Be aware of yourself, your likes, your dislikes, your non-negotiables, your standards. Especially when you're in a relationship or a marriage, we become so enmeshed in the person that we're with, we completely lose who we are. We were once a person with our own likes and dislikes. It's like, my aunt and uncle, which I love dearly, but every time you ask one of them a question, they'll look at the other one and say, do we like that? And in one way, I'm jealous of their relationship, but in another way, it's like, I don't know. Do you have your own thoughts and opinions? So just know yourself. Number two, be responsible. Not blaming yourself, not blaming others for things. And this includes taking responsibility for your part in something that wasn't your responsibility. Number three, self-assertiveness. Keep in mind, I did not say aggression. Aggression is when you make your needs met while walking and trampling on other people's toes. Self-assertiveness is having your needs known while being kind and respectful in the meantime. Live productively. Mind you, I didn't say keep busy. Live productively. You can rock in a rocking chair. That's going to keep you busy. Not sure how productive it is. So live productively. Treat yourself with kindness and patience. I always tell my son before he gets on the school bus, remember to be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. I mean, you're going to spend the rest of your life with you. Be your own best friend. Forgive yourself and encourage yourself. And when I mean forgive yourself, I mean forgive yourself for not seeing the red flags and some betrayal, not acting on those red flags if you happen to see those red flags. Forgive yourself for scrolling Facebook and not paying attention. You stub your toe on something. Forgive yourself in every area. Focus on your positives. You have positives. You have a ton of positives. Lord have mercy, you have positives. Focus on them. Our brain likes to default to all of our negative. Simply force yourself to think of your positives. Remind yourself that you are a survivor. You are a warrior. You have been through a lot. You've learned a lot. I mean, the fact that you're watching this class, if that doesn't tell you you're a survivor, or at least that if that doesn't tell you you're a warrior, if not at least a survivor, because you want to bend, you want to heal, you want to get better, you want to transform, you want to thrive. So know that you are a warrior. Think of how many things you've survived, you've went through already, maybe you've healed from. And lastly, relabel anything that your inner critic tried to label incorrectly. So many times we or others give us labels, and sometimes it's easier just to grow into those labels rather than question them and say, no, that doesn't apply to me, and I'm not going to label myself with that. So relabel yourself with any negative labels that you or others might have given you.